Welcome back to episode 6, chapter 6, whatever you want to say, of Victonian Visions, Hero Rises, The Prodigy by Zachary Sergi. Thank you so much. And here are the stats. I am all kinds of in Fuckle. That's all I can say. I'm in Fuckle Town. And yes, let's go on with Victonian Visions. Your heart begins to pound and you clench your fists. It's just about all you can do to not pummel Mayor Victon on sight. The only thing holding you back is seeing Grandma sitting in the living room behind him. "What are you doing here?" you say, willing yourself to stop shaking. No, there's no need to be rude," Mayor Victor says. "After all, your grandmother was kind enough to invite me inside." You send Grandma a look, and she returns it with a calm nod. "Not now, Habidibi," you imagine her saying. "I received an urgent call from my son claiming that some rogue rookie attacked him and sabotaged his latest case," Mayor Victon says. "I and my officer discover which so-called hero this was, and a quick background search gave us your address. Then I had some more of my colorful staff pay you a visit." Your eyes flash back to Grandma, but she nods once again, indicating that she's alright. If this scum had hurt her, you don't even want to think about what you do. It's terrifying that your private information is out there, too. Sure, you have a secret identity, but since all heroes have to register with the government, there's a secure database with all the licensed heroes' information in it. A database that Mayor Victon clearly has access to, one way or another. Imagine my surprise when they found an old woman living here instead of some young buck hero, and then my absolute delight to learn that I had walked right into the new life of my dear old friends, the Sashimis. Victon nearly coos. "I had heard you'd both enrolled in the PFPP, but I'd rather frustratingly hadn't been informed of your whereabouts." Mayor Victon pauses, hitting you with the warmest politician smile he can muster. He's got the same Kennedy-esque good look as his son, but you can slightly see his replugged hairline and concealer-covered cheeks. "It is rather gratifying to finally have found you after all these years, and more gratifying to know exactly where you live," Victon says, his voice dropping. "Do you keep that in mind next time you happen to come across my son?" I want to blow him away so badly. Fuck. But if I hear him out, I don't know if I want to be friends with this guy, though. Like, he's an asshole. Well, maybe if I hear him out, then I can trash talk him later. So let me hear him out. "What do you want?" Your voice as your voice trim. Oh. "Battalion right now would get you nowhere because posturing has his eyes on a bit of the upcoming presidential election. He's beloved to be by the people's money city for regulating powered activities, making the city a safer place to live. Taking down your murderous parents was spun as a positive, but coming after their innocent, shattered family won't play well to the public, especially not with PFP backing you up. So Mayor Victon won't want to make any waves here, at least not today." "Why, my dear child? What gives you the impression you could possibly have anything I might want?" Mayor Victon smiles at you, a smile that sends ice through your veins. You're about to respond when suddenly Mayor Victon shouts in pain and jumps sideways. You're quiet to see that one of Grandma's Venus flytraps has had its way with Mayor Victon's thighs. "Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that," Grandma says. "Demilo sometimes has a mind of her own. Now, if you'll excuse me, I do think it's time you're leaving. That is unless you have something constructive to add to this conversation." Mayor Victon looks from Grandma to you, the smile draining from his face. "I just wanted to drop by to let you know you always have a friend in me," Mayor Victon says as he walks towards the door. "Feel free to call me anytime, and know that I know where you two live. Do remember that I can call you anytime I'd like to." On that discomforting notion, Mayor Victon exits your apartment. "Bastard," Grandma says, petting DeMilo. She looks as if she wants to say more, but stops once she gets a closer look at you. "Oh my word, you look dreadful, Habidibi. Are you alright?" No. I don't want to bother with the information, because then she'll, if I do, god damn it. Alright, I'll use her as my conscience just once. A few short hours, his best birthday, but now you try your hardest to block out the failures. To figure that your costume is still covered in bits of human ash, you thought about being a hero with glamorous. You could barely save your own life, let alone anyone else's. As the adrenaline finally drains from your body, one thought pounds your brain, pushing out everything else. You wish your parents were here. It isn't long before you're on the floor in room, blotching into blackness. The last thing you make out is grandma kneeling beside you, look more worried than you've ever seen her. 2 weeks later. Damn. Rookie Hero Dunce ruins everything. Millennia Orbit article contributed by Sandra Chala. It's been weeks since this article came out, but it still stings every time you read it. At this point, you can only bear to skim the clipping. Not only does the news blog chew you out for destroying the Gravitas, there's also a quote from Rexford Schillers damning you for it costing him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Of course, there's a quote from Jury 2 saying that you sabotage what otherwise would have been a successful mission for him. Luckily, Officer Sanders managed to do some damage control, citing you as the hero who helped the police locate Tracer. He's also contributed your prodigal story to the investigation and managed to clear your name of criminal charges, but most still think you're responsible for the Splice Circle murders. So while you may not be a fugitive, thanks to Officer Sanders, the MCPD still hates you. In fact, the only reason the police haven't knocked down your door is I do have money. This is probably going to help me later. Just saying. So I'm doing it. How much? Damn, that cost me 400 bigs. Okay. There may have been a major political battle surrounding the electronic tracking and privacy rights. You're supposed to be protected from most tracking as a result, but you don't buy that for 1 second. You purchased anti-tracking software as soon as you could, so your ME chip does its best to keep you erased from GPS grids and clean up as many of your electronic footprints as possible. The software wasn't cheap, though, setting you back $400. Last and certainly not least, Mary Victon's office commented in the article saying that amateur hero screw-ups like this one that Mary Victon hoping to further regulate during the rest of his term. While this Orbit article probably helped make Sandra Chala's career, it appears that she has done irreparable damage to yours. My legend went down. Shit. Saying that the amateur hero screwed up, was like, even though she gave you his first piece on Tracer, she has thoroughly trashed your name with the second article, a fact you won't forget anytime soon. I'm coming for you, Miss Chala. The people in Millennia City now think that you're not just as a hack, but an actual danger to society. If you thought getting a good hero gig was hard before, it got doubly difficult, and your legend level seems decimated before it has even a chance to rise down to a merely 5, according to your heroic license. You check the official Hero Legend Meter website that tracks your legend like a credit score, but you know it's bound to be depressing. Hey, my power and health are back up. My health went down, though. That sucks. Well, the only positive news is that good or bad, famous or infamous, you place yourself on the map in a big way. Getting people's attention is the first step to become a hero, even if it's only negative attention. And now that all of the Millennia City is watching, it's up to you to decide what they see next. That's right. Justice and fame. Okay. Fame went up, which is interesting to me. With that thought in mind, you took some time to rest and recover from the first traumatizing night. More importantly, you took time to reflect upon your actions. Considering all that happened with the Gravitas case, how do you feel about your first heroic night? I did put him behind bars. You know, I did do all that. My reputation is ruined. People think I'm useless at best, criminal at worst. No, I did my job. I still believe that I did something good. And I did. I mean, kind of. I took the thing for my own money, but she ended up destroying it. I was like, you know what? It's still a weapon off the street, right? And it's a very powerful weapon. Unless your powers in real-life heroic situation was quite a rush, but it provided to be equally terrifying. Even though you managed to survive the night, your power and health levels could have dropped to dangerously low levels, and they did. After a week's rest, you fully healed and repowered, but how do you feel about your fighting decisions? I did do that. I definitely did. I was too timid. I could have benefited from fighting a bit more offensively. No, I think my offensive moments were good. I definitely know that my defensive moments were on par, and I didn't really lose any health until that last bit when I was trying to make some weird decisions. And I think no matter what I did, I was going to lose health there. So I'm going to go with that first one. I defended myself very well. Feelings regardless of the law really matter, especially since these feelings have significantly affected your relationship with the MCPD. How do you plan to react to the law and the police moving forward? That is true. But it's only Officer Sanders was my contact. So I'm going to keep working with him. He will be a useful contact, trust me. Finally, for only one night on the job, you amass a pretty impressive array of managers. Who do you think is the biggest threat? Prodigy interests me. I know that much. Rexford Schillers, I don't really remember, to be honest. Madame Weiss. She's probably like what, the poison ivy of this story? If I want to compare it to Batman, I guess. She's probably the poison ivy of this story. Mayor Victon. The Splice Circle I'm not worried about. They have no leader right now. They're disorganized. Madame Weiss is trying to take over that mantle, but she's just seducing people. It's going to be a while. Mayor Victon is trying to personally attack me. Jury's just his kid. I don't give a damn. Rexford Schillers, I don't remember who you are. And Prodigy seems like she could be a potential team up. So I'm saying Mayor. Has more power and influence than everyone else on this list combined. He can make your life hell if he wants to. And after what he did to your parents, there's no way he'd think of his potential threats to his political aspirations. No matter how you feel about your first cases, you'll realize that this is going to be way harder than you expected. You're going to have to be stronger, smarter, and faster if you have any hope of surviving the deadly enemies you face and finding the success you desperately crave. But what is this all a crazy pipe dream? What if you're not good enough? What if the odds just never work in your favor? Your dreams could simply not come true, and no one would know except for you. You quickly shake these doubts off, though. No one has ever said this was going to be easy. Ooh, I can purchase another upgrade. Okay. That might be nice, actually, to have access that store energy for blasting, which means that I have extra energy to use. If that is what I believe it is. Channel access and propulsion to my flying. I don't want to use extra energy though while flying. If that reads like large metal wristbands that store energy for blasting, that means I can use energy without spending any of my own, which is good. If that is correct. So I'm gonna spend money. Yes! Creates blast at half the power cost. So now I have shields at half power cost, and I have the other. And somehow my Victon level went up. I don't know why. So I now have shields for half cost. I now have offensive for half cost. So what did that do? So offensive is still low. Still low. Ready to go back to work, you pull on your dunce costume. You know Grandma will kill you if you don't say goodbye before leaving, so you walk in the living room where you find her wrestling with a large palm frond. Grandma has lost several of the tools from a gardening belt, and her hair has come undone, matted down to her face with beads of sweat. I'm fine, Grandma says, wiping her brows. Topaz here is just having a bit of a hard time adjusting, but he'll feel right at home in no time. By the way, that video game woman called again, and she sounded rather angry. In your haste to start your heroic career, you quit the video game testing job without telling the company or returning your advance deposit. Perhaps not the smartest move, especially now that you have no idea how you're going to start making money as a hero. Unfortunately, your bank account also took another hit this morning after you paid $100 for the rent. Grandma doesn't cover all the bill. Shit. Fuck! I hate this upgrade now. It helped me out, but now it looks like it backfired on me. Anyway, are you going to go see Jenny? Grandma asked, returning to her battle with the Topaz. Grandma thinks with all this fresh heroic hell on your plate, it'd be smart to strategize with your PFPP agent, Jenny. She has access to government information and claims to have a lead that could help you sort out the mess with the Gravitas case, but you probably a bit too fast taking on the splice circle, so you've got your sights on a smaller scale mission for tonight. Oh, Hobbit-DB, Grandma says, have you made a decision yet about the sidekick mentoring project? Despite your heroic false start, Grandma still has been insisting that you take on a sidekick mentee. She has been involved in mentoring powered youth, even had your own hero mentor back when you were younger, though the most exciting thing he had asked you to do was pick up his dry cleaning. You never tell Grandma, but you don't have much faith in the program. Besides, you can't imagine why any young powered person would want to walk with an amateur like you. You've been rather reluctant to choose all week, but at this point you're just tired of Grandma constant and helpful reminders. Alright, you say, pulling up the applicant files from your ME chip. As you scroll in front of your face, you decide to go with... Alright, let's see. Sparrow, a 16-year-old orphan from Eastern Fringes who has the appearance and abilities of a typical bird. Coming from a hood like Fringes, she won't have many heroic opportunities within her reach, a fact you know all too well. Pressy, a 14-year-old, 4-foot-tall, gnomish-looking boy. He believes his powers to manipulate the earth come slowly from his magical peg leg. His only dream is to become a hero, but given his rather cutesy appearance, that seems highly unlikely. What? I believe that my peg leg will rule the world. Okay, Captain Ahab. Tarana Rain, a 15-year-old girl who has the power to generate and manipulate water. She goes to Ritzy Rain Hill powered private school and comes from a wealthy family, one that owes... Ooh. Yes. I'm sorry, but damn. Manipulate water. That can be useful. And you can't fathom why she's applying to this program, but you do like the idea of a connection to the orbit. Impressing her parents might come in very handy, given their considerable influence within the media world. I did not think about that either. I just thought about the water. If you're going to do this mentor sidekick thing, why not go something out of it for yourself, too? Ooh, I smell trouble, McJew says, appearing today in one of her standard issue outfits. A naughty secretary. This mess is going to be too hot to handle. Ignoring Jew and wishing you chosen a potentially less offensive personality template for your ME chip, you look up. I'm going to go with Tarana Rain, you say to Grandma. I had a feeling you might, Grandma says, a mischievous smirk stretching across her face, which is why I told her to meet you in Ring Square in 5 minutes to help you with whatever you got planned for tonight. You open your mouth to protest, but no, it's no use. Arguing with Grandma once she's made up her mind is mind-numbingly futile. So you basically, So you simply nod, jaw clench. That is certainly going to be interesting. Before you go, you walk over and say goodbye to Gun Matalia, stroking your pedals for good luck. And for heaven's sake, Habadibi, Grandma starts once again looking more worried than you can stand. Please be careful out there. You're not a grandma, knowing it'll be hard to screw things up worse than you did last time. I got my sidekick. In your room, you prepare for takeoff, checking over your costume one last time. Then you look over to the poster at your parents', causing another streak of guilt to run through you. Maybe you should write to them. Then you stop yourself thinking about that. Nothing has changed of your life without your parents, so that's what you're going to do. Instead, you glance over at the poster of rebellion, thinking that getting to his level seems further away than ever before. Part 2. Pride comes before. Alrighty. So I will come back to you in the next part with the part 2. Have a good one.
I'm off to save the world like I'm some kind of Batman.